Simo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to round 5 of the Crush Card Cup. I'm Alex Simo, joined by Joseph Rothschild, MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! For another electrifying commentary. So before we get into our match, big shouts to our sponsors for this free 512-person event, Ultimate Guard, Project CCG, and We Play Games for their support. Check out the links down in the description for all your card and accessory needs. But for this match, we have Adamancipator. No surprise, we already see the Automata pickup being played on Ilias' side of the field, which is going to be met with Dimension Shifter. And if you don't know what deck natively plays Dimension Shifter, that would be Gren Maju. Joseph, I already know how you're feeling about this, but you have to verbalize it for me.
Is that enough of a verbalization? Oh man, I'm not a giant fan of Gren Maju, but I understand why people like it. Big number, hit hard, and the ability to play main deck Dimension Shifter is nothing to sneeze at either in a format where cards like DD Crow are already so just powerful in a vacuum. I'm excited to see how it matches up against the deck that can put out 6 or 7 negates on turn 1, but I have a feeling that Gren Maju's effect not being activated is going to play a huge role.
As it typically does. So, Adamancipator, I mean, we've already talked about this deck in great detail in some of our other feature matches. Just an incredibly huge blowout deck of the format. Just able to go into this right here, Gallant Granite, and be able to search Block Dragon, and pretty much then the whole deck comes together, and it's just a symphony of minerals. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but...
I was going to say, we're probably not getting Block Dragon here because there's no way to summon it this turn. You can't banish monsters from a graveyard that doesn't exist. Instead, he's getting a Seeker to go with the Researcher already in the hand, which can be specialed if you control a rock monster, Seeker if you control an Adamancipator. So we'll be able to end on a couple of Synchros, maybe like a Dragite and an Appaloosa if we're feeling spicy, and the ability to get to Block Dragon next turn, but certainly not the setup that you are able to perform in a world where Dimension Shifter hasn't been activated.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. As soon as I just see Gallant Granite or even 2 level 4s on an Adamancipator board, I just start going on autopilot as
Here
to knowing
we go
exactly.
again.
Yeah, exactly right, and completely neglected the fact that Dimension Shifter was activated, which actually might be enough to slow this Adamancipator player down. I mean, Ilias, this could be problematic because if you're not, I mean, you got a Quackimira Guardian, so that's at least one negation there, but it's gonna be a little bit difficult to play under this because you're not able to do the plays you might normally do, since this does effectively stave off Block Dragon, but you're gonna be able to, at the very least, go into like Masquerena, Quackimira Guardian, which is like fine, or Herald of the Arclight, that's also very good.
Sure, I mean, this is a negate, I suppose. The Dimension Shifter main deck is something I really like. I know that they're playing it because it's specifically Gren Maju, but as the format kind of circles the drain on which hand traps are going to be able to not only beat this incredibly robust, rebuildable deck in Adamancipator, but also contend with decks that do something fundamentally different, things like Eldritch. It's kind of hard, and you got to go deep into the tank of what's actually playable in order to find something. Dimension Shifter is a pretty good argument in terms of one of the best hand traps in the format.
So here's Ilias' end board, it looks like. Masquerena plus Arclight, and then you also have a Wrap type for the following turn if you don't link that off with Masquerena. So at the very least, you have 2 interruptions, which...
This is great. One negate?
Right. I mean, this is like... This is fine. It's obviously not like the insane boards it usually is able to pump out, but under Dimension Shifter, I think this might be as good as it... I would say as good as it gets, but it's pretty impressive considering the circumstances.
Yeah, until you see Eater of Millions. So, Eater of Millions does 2 things here. If we banish enough of the extra deck, it threatens Masquerena without having to use its effect, which means that we can just threaten Battle Phase right now. If not, it can still be negated by Danger Thunderbird, but we're seeing a Thunderbird of, or negated by Herald. I saw Danger Thunderbird and my mind went blank.
So here comes Danger Thunderbird. We hit Chupacabra. Dimension Shifter is still online because it does last until the end of the next turn when it was active, so do keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And Super Polymerization pitching Jackalope.
Wait, what's
by
the
way.
target? Oh, we're eating the
to...
Masquerena so we can go into Starving Venom?
We're going to go Masquerena and our own Thunderbird, because Eater of Millions, I believe, can't be used as fusion material. Yes, cannot be used as
it can only be linked.
Right. It looks like that's getting banished. I think that's going to get corrected. I would hope so, because it cannot be used that way. Hopefully we get that fixed. But I think we might be resolving Jackalope first here. Okay, so there's Ogopogo. I think they're going to fix it. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eater of Millions coming back. Thunderbird's getting banished instead, so quick correction there. And so this Ogopogo doesn't look as good now that you don't have your Thunderboard for your rank 8 play, but Starving Venom just happens to also be a level 8, so you still have that opportunity to use that. We haven't used the Herald of the Arclight yet. We kind of just have to save this for as best we can, but that's just going to get eaten by Starving Venom, so we're not even going to get the chance to do that.
So, there are a couple of interesting things that are happening here, right? The Raptide is gone forever. It's not able to be sent back into the extra deck as it normally is. But unless this Pot of Desires draws something particularly powerful, any Adamancipator starter is going to end on a board that there is no way that Gren Maju is going to be able to beat. And if they can make a rank 8, it might actually be pretty broken.
Pot of Desires also being Martin's last card here was pretty good. Obviously,
it was 3 dangers, Dimension Shifter, Pot of Desires, Eater. Yeah, okay.
Yep. That seems, aside from Gren Maju, I mean, that seems pretty good. Also of note, they only play, if I'm not mistaken, does an Adamancipator only play the one Raptite because they can recycle it?
Right.
Right.
That's the decks I've seen. Occasionally people will play 2. I am not a fan of that.
Right,
looks like we're overlaying right now for Hope Harbinger. Says, I need some kind of interaction on your turn.
And so now we're just going to go to end phase. Nothing too big there. I mean, a single spell negate against this deck that plays so many cards that are just able to extend past that, that's not really that threatening. And Dark Ruler No More makes it irrelevant anyway. I guess it effectively just trades at that point. I guess it negates Eater, which is like somewhat relevant, I suppose.
Well, so Dark Ruler No More is both good and bad. It's good because now your Adamancipator is going to resolve. It looks like he drew 2 Dark Ruler No More. But it's bad insofar as you can't kill your opponent this turn. That means he's got to go into a board of negates, and a normal summoned Gren Maju will still be lethal.
Yeah, that is one of the trade-offs when it comes to Dark Ruler No More. However, the boards that this deck is able to assemble, it may not matter, but we've already used quite a bit of resources in our first turn, especially that Raptite if he's not playing a second. So Masquerade's gone too, so you've lost one of those. Your Arclight is also gone. So your cards that you would use to typically just kind of defend from your opponent on the following turn, you're actually a little bit limited in what you can do here.
Does he have a Gallant Granite? It looks like he doesn't, and also has not read Eater of Millions. Oh no, it's Dark Ruler No More.
It's Dark Ruler No More, correct. So that's negated, and we're just going to eat that Eater of Millions with our Utopic Onomatopoeia. We're going to go into Dweller?
Yo, that's terrible. And that's the turn!
That's just rough. We're just going to shotgun Dweller here, which is, I guess it stops the dangers?
Sort of.
That's
normal Gren Maju and wrap this one up, buddy.
I mean, okay, so Thunderbird. That's fine. Yeah, like you said, if we just see a Gren Maju, it's over.
He can't catch a break on these danger activations either. I think he's missed every one so far.
I believe so as well, and...
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Here's the other Eater.
Yep, so Eater's going to come down. We can just easily banish that Dweller. We can go in for 5,800 damage just on board. And it looks like that's all we're going to have to, unfortunately, deal with here. But, you know, with only one card in hand, if you're Ilias, and that Hope Harbinger looking mighty imposing now, yeah, it's going to be rough.
I mean, I've been talking all day about the rebuildability of Adamancipator and how it's so much fun, so fundamentally different than other combo decks in that it can put its synchro monsters back, but sometimes you banish all your opponent's play starters and they can't rebuild. I mean, I would say Dimension Shifter was the win condition that game and performed admirably.
And so here we go. Now, Ilias is going to force the Gren Maju player, Martin, to go first, which is the ultimate weakness of this deck. But we will see how Martin contends. We're going to start off with a Pot of Desires, so that's pretty good.
I mean, so you want to make what, Sanafond here?
You just want to make a rank 8, right? You just need, like, something that's going to put up any sort of defense against what Ilias is going to do with 6 cards on his next turn. Lure of Darkness, so we're just going to cycle for some more cards here. Perfectly fine.
This seems bad, but something like a Sanafond and a set Super Polymerization might be enough to actually do it.
Potentially. We're going to see Bigfoot be activated now. We're going to hit Nessie.
Just
oh my god.
Can't get a break. No, that's the whole rank 8 right there.
Right, so now we're going to get our search off of Nessie. It's going to get us Jackalope here. We're going to fire off this Jackalope. Remember when these cards were at 3?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I think they could probably come back to 3. There's the Gren Maju, but I am much happier that all of my games don't start with the mandatory danger RNG, where we look at each other's hands and try to snipe things out of it.
So going for an Eater of Millions here, this might just telegraph a Link play.
Whoa.
Whoa! Blackluster Soldier of Chaos.
Okay, so Bigfoot does fulfill the level 7 or higher condition. That means it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects or targeted. That's probably not going to be a big deal for the deck that can activate non-targeting removal, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's Gren Maju, so we can't have the highest of expectations here.
Okay, like, what were you going to do? Obviously, he wanted the Jackalope to be sent so you could special something like a Thunderbird from the deck and overlay for maybe a Sanafond. This is not ideal.
Right, and
not even activating Dark Ruler this time. Like, why would I put myself off lethal?
Right, he must have also just had the... Jackalope must have been his only danger, because he would have probably wanted to just activate literally anything else at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, just to try to get the Jackalope in the grave. I think, to be fair, if Jackalope hits itself, it gets its own effect. But, I mean, if you had more dangers, you'd want to try to fire those off. But we'll see. I mean, we've been surprised before by plays like this.
I'd like to know what's in this 4-card hand that wasn't worth playing. You know, you have to expect that your opponent is likely going to make you go first into Game 2. So I doubt that it's stuff like Lightning Storm, like Dark Ruler No More, cards that are specifically good going second. They have to kind of be hand traps like DD Crow or Ash Blossom if he wants any shot at winning this one.
So Ilias is just comboing off here. Here comes the Herald of the Arclight, which will now protect him from any sort of going second shenanigans that that Martin might have. If there's Nibiru, if there's, you know, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter, but we're just going to get to see him go off. Here comes the Utopic Adamancipator, because we have the condition to get that out. Now we can overlay for Gallant Granite, get our Block Dragon. We've seen this song and dance before, right? This is like the bread and butter. To be fair, Gallant Granite is a very considerable choke point, because if they don't have another way to get to Block Dragon, granted, Union Carrier is played in some builds to kind of pivot if that card were to get stopped, but with Herald of the Arclight, there's no way that Martin is going to be able to stop this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, gosh. The effective Dwarf Engrave. Here comes the Block Dragon. This deck is just so rebuildable.
So now here we go. We're just making Boral Sword, I imagine? That was a Link for 4. Yep, here we go. This might just be the end of the game.
I would imagine it is. Now, it's targeted or destroyed, not affected. So its attack will go down when Boral Sword attacks, and that, honestly, is probably enough to win the game on its own.
Don't you love the semantics of... Don't you love the semantics of Yu-Gi-Oh?
No! I hate that I have to have a master's thesis in linguistics to understand if I'm allowed to soul charge or soul taker my opponent's Blackluster Soldier.
And so here we go. Looks like we might just be going to battle phase here. And yeah, this is more than enough to represent lethal. And that's going to be it. Going to Game 3. Okay, so if you're Ilias, you're probably going to be just forcing him to go second. I mean, I can't really... wait a minute.
What? He
opted for first?
Alright, I'm ready to see it. What did you do? Is it Imperial Order? Is it Summon Limit? Is it there can be only one? There are going first cards that win the game, and that's one of them.
Okay, so Dimension Shifter arguably won him game 1, so...
Let's see if
that's fine. Okay, so we're going to go trade-in. These are all going to get banished, so no danger triggers here. So we're going to just swap out a couple cards here. We're going to dig for a little bit deeper with Allure of Darkness. This deck has an extraordinarily high amount of draw power, funny
Yeah, the
enough.
one thing I like about Gren Maju is post-board, you have like a 90% chance of seeing your sideboarded cards, because you see something like 15 cards over the course of the turn with trade-ins, allures, and Pots of Desire.
Okay,
it's
so
weird.
this
It's a deck that doesn't use the extra, and you can't play Extravagance. You just draw too much.
Talk about the bluff, though, from Martin here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is, like, wise, but we're going to see what happens. So trade in for Thunderbird again. That card is not once per turn. We're just going to set one, which is a skill drain.
That's a great one. I mean, you're really looking for these floodgates that just win you the game immediately against an opponent who is not boarding for floodgates because they think you're blinding second.
Okay, so now we're going to try to see if we can hit this Thunderbird here. Hits Eater of Millions, I think...
Cannot hit one of these. This is the worst sniper in the entire armed forces.
So here comes Thunderbird now, and Nessie, we looking for another 8 here if we want any sort of rank 8 play. Nessie hits Dimensional Fissure.
Ooh, I think I probably would have preferred to have the Dimensional Fissure.
Yeah, and now here's Jackalope on a 50-50 here. I think
Extremely late. He wants to hit the Jackalope.
Right, and so it's going to come down... Well, Jackalope won't trigger, actually.
It will. It just
it is because it's
discarded.
Sorry, if it's discarded, correct. Yes, it's.
Yeah, these cards are broken.
Yeah, I'm thinking hand traps specifically, how they don't resolve like in the graveyard, or I'm thinking like with danger
Ghost
effects
Ogre
with
and stuff,
Bistar.
yeah.
In any case, yeah. So Ogopogo hits the field. That is our second level
Fund.
8.
Santa Fund.
What's it
Santa
gonna
Fund's
be?
terrible here because we're under what's it called? What the hell is this?
Oh, it is number 97 Draglubion, and if I recall, this allows you to detach materials, and you get to summon another dragon Xyz monster, and like equip materials to it.
Wait, okay, so take 2 dragon numbers with different names from your extra deck, special one of them, and attach the other as material. So we're going for Hope Harbinger, and the mat is, what is that, Numeron?
I mean, I think we're just trying to get Harbinger on the board, right?
What
with the
is
material.
this getting you? What what is the upside of this? You could have just overlaid for Harbinger, and you're going to eat a Nibiru.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I guess if you go through that play to get to Harbinger, you get like the Draglubion on the board as well, so it's like a free rank 8. I guess. Like,
This is so silly. I love it.
To be fair, this is something pre-Master Rule 5. A card like Draglubion, I don't think would ever see the light of day, right? And
No.
Yeah, so now that you're not encumbered by the link arrows any longer, I think it's cool to see a card like this actually have a chance to do, something, even though it's like in Gren Maju's extra deck, which is completely irrelevant. But,
this is an 8,000 attack token. He's putting it in attack so he can Boral Sword him to death. Tell me the skill drain wins the game because then the Boral Sword can't soak.
I mean, it's possible. We see Analyzer come down, immediately flipping up skill drain. And if you are the Adamancipator player here, you specifically need, like, Cosmic Cyclone or whatever sort of spell and trap removal in the form of a spell and trap that you play in your side deck to out this.
It looks like he's let it resolve, so we are gonna have a problem. That's the Analyzer effect negated. The token keeps its attack. Unfortunately, it does.
And so this is going to be rough here. I'm really trying to think what else he can do. We can special summon this Researcher because that effect doesn't activate on the field. But where's that going to get you? I mean, you could maybe link all these off, but it's going to matter? Like, Unicorn
Oh my god,
Pass?
you're taking 6,000 damage here. Any danger wins the game.
I don't like this. But I mean, I guess you have to find I guess it's better than having Analyzer be in attack mode, I suppose, because Analyzer was 1,500, so you're just mitigating your damage?
Can you repeat how much attack the token has?
It has
lot.
8,800 attack.
Oh, this is awful.
My lord. And there's a Chupacabra.
It's not lethal, but it's close. He goes to 500.
No, that's 6,600 plus 15. That is 8,100.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no, you're right. It's 100 off.
We're 100 off lethal. And he's going to concede.
Oh my god. Okay, so I don't think anyone was expecting Gren Maju to win that way. A blind going first, game 3 with Gren Maju.
You don't even need to draw Gren Maju if your opponent gives you Gren Maju in the form of a token.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Skill Drain kind of did what it was supposed to there. But
yeah,
again, having the gigantic Nibiru token was basically Ilias's, the Adamancipator player's demise. And wow, incredible. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you in the next match.